When your son called you, told you what happened, first of all, what went through your mind?
Well, to try to figure out if he's okay, and both physically and psychologically. And he was shaken. I could tell in his voice that he was shaking, and I was trying to make him feel better, to try to kind of stabilize him because I couldn't get there. But I was just trying to make sure he was okay first and let him tell me his story.
Good. I mean, because you and I have talked so often on this program about conversations you have had with your son.
Right.
I'm wondering if that sort of ran through your mind of those conversations you had had. I mean, you said you'd been glad you'd had those conversations,
Right.
upset that he had to utilize some.
Well, when he told me what he did in response, I realized that he had done all the right things. And part of you is happy that he remembers and he did it properly and you followed the script. And then part of you is incredibly sad that he would ever have to use it. In the back of your mind, you're hoping against hope that you'll never have to use the advice, and then he had to use it.
Does the fact that the police officer involved is African American, does that change the equation in your mind in any way?
It doesn't for me, because when we have those conversations with our kids, we don't say, well, if you run into a white police officer, behave like this and this and this and this. And if you run into a black police officer, you don't have to worry about any of that. Do whatever you want to do. Jam your hands into all your pockets and jump around and talk back. We talk about the police in general. And I am very happy that when he turned around and saw whoever was with the gun, that he didn't behave any differently. He didn't see any difference. He saw a gun and an officer, and he followed the very same script. A bullet doesn't know the color of the finger that pulls the trigger. It doesn't care. Bullets don't have emotions, they have directions. And I think that we have to, as parents, always have to remember that it's not so clearly delineated in terms of who your kid might run into as an officer.
Do you believe race played a role, even though the officer was African American? Do you believe race played a role in what happened to your son? Because you've come under criticism from some conservative sites. Some have even called it a race hoax. Because in your original article, you didn't mention that the officer was African American.
Right. Because in my articles, I've been writing about this for probably years now, and I have stopped almost altogether mentioning the race of any officers, period.
Has that been a conscious decision on your part?
It was a conscious decision on my part, and I'll tell you why. Because it became more and more clear to me that it was more about culture of the police officers dealing with these young black men than individual officers dealing with these young black men. To me, it started to build up as like, this is bigger than just them. And so I started to just, not like as a crusade, but just my own comfort to say, I don't need to mention these races.
Because you believe that there is sort of a police culture which views young men of color differently.
I believe that the data says that these young men of color are being treated differently, and I don't know what it is about the culture in the police departments that is creating that dynamic, but there's something that's at play there. So I just started on my own to just stop doing it.
I want to read you something that the Yale University, they put out a statement. They said, in part, what happened on Cross Campus on Saturday is not a replay of what happened in Ferguson, Staten Island, Cleveland, or so many other places in our time and over time in the United States. To that, what do you say?
I'm very happy that the police chief and the dean did call, and they were very apologetic. And since then, the actual police officer called my son. And my son said he was very apologetic. I think that goes a very long way in a way that Ferguson did not go, because he could see this as an actual human being. He was being apologetic about something. My son was able to ask him, why did he draw the gun? He said he couldn't get into a lot of details because there was an ongoing investigation. But he was able to talk to him like an actual human being.
The Yale Police Department, they're also conducting an investigation.
Right.
They're saying the fact that the officer drew his weapon during the stop requires a careful review.
Everything that happened there, other than the gun pulling, I would have been perfectly okay with it. Just tell him to stand to the side until you figure it out, make sure it's not him. I think he would have appreciated that. It is the kind of, that use of force and use that quickly without even asking a question, knowing that asking whether or not he would kind of willingly submit. That was the problem. And what I'm hoping will come of this, I got the impression from the dean and the chief of police that this was not standard operating procedure. I'm hoping that that investigation will lead to that being explicit, and that I will never have to worry again about my kid or about anybody else's kid having a gun pulled on them when they're leaving a library.